Cool. Here we are, creating a review strategy. Let's get this going. That's us, Matthew, Aaron, 2H Media. We do a whole bunch of stuff in the Shopify community. This falls under our education. Every month we do what's called a Shopify Meetup. You're in one right now. We run all of the Ontario Shopify Meetup, so pretty much everyone's going to be in here from Ontario. If you're from outside Canada, that's cool too. Like, these aren't siloed. Anyone can join. We're going to ask them for some feedback at the end of the presentation. If there's a specific topic you want us to cover in the future, that is your way of leaving a fingerprint on the stuff that we tackle. We are going to be holding some in-person Shopify meetups, hopefully in Waterloo, in the soon future, as soon as we get past these mask mandates and COVID is waning down. We do a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah, we are Shopify partners, and we're pretty proud to be doing this with you today. What you're going to learn in today's workshop. Cool. Types of reviews. Yep, they're not all the same. And the types of reviews that you should focus on. So there's some types, and then not every business needs to focus on all of them. So we need to focus on the ones that make the most sense for you. How to collect more reviews. So yes, we could all use more. Responding to good and bad reviews. And then we're going to get to the strategy stuff at the end, which is essentially what is called social priming. If you've never heard that, psychology. Pretty cool stuff that happened in the 70s that's still super relevant today. And then yes, Q&A. So that is the agenda for today. Let's get into it. Types of reviews. They're not all the same, just like I mentioned. There are 4 major types. There are some there's sprinkles of things in there and out there. Obviously, there's word of mouth reviews, where people are just talking about you. That would be a piece of social proof. We're not going to be talking too much about word of mouth today. We're going to be talking about the digital side. So there are 4 major types. We're in order, and by no means are these in order of importance or what you should focus on, but just to keep things simple. We have product reviews through the Google Shopping channel. Very important for some businesses. Google My Business reviews. Those are going to be relevant to pretty much everyone. On-site reviews, which are super important if you have a Shopify store. And then third-party reviews. Again, hit and miss depending on your business model. We're going to touch on all of them today based on your business and the uniqueness of your customer base. You might need all. You might need one more than all of the other 3, all the other 4. Cool. Okay, a Google product review. You have probably all seen one of these. My screenshot here, I have just Googled, you can see it. I was looking for a kettle. I knew what brand I wanted, and Google's going to pop up. Great, I'm on my mobile device. This is just a screenshot. And what you'll notice is they have 340 reviews. It's not super clear there. I know this could be a little bit tiny for you. Google product reviews happen through Google Merchant Center. Google Merchant Center is a free tool from Google that you can set up, and you can actually link to your Shopify store if you're on Shopify. And it's going to actually help you get your product into the Google Shopping channel. So very, very important. How this stuff works, I'm going to explain. But yes, they help you in a variety of ways. Almost half of all product searches start on Google. So very important. It's a massive audience. Yes, it's got a little bit more of a local focus because they're not looking to buy a kettle in England. You're probably looking to buy a kettle for where you are located. It's free to set up. So Google Merchant Center is free, like I mentioned, but it does require some upkeep. It's not like snap your fingers and it's done. The reviews are specific to the product, not the company. So keep that in mind. And they're actually curated from multiple sites. So this is not something where you can just gather reviews specific to you. Very, very important. So if you are a wholesaler, if you are selling product to other businesses to sell, so if you're a B2B business, very, very important for you to be gathering these reviews because you don't care where your products are getting sold from if you're selling through a wholesale channel. But you do want to sell more of your product. You want them to be moving, obviously, in higher quantities and for people to like it. So regardless of where they're getting it from. So this OXO kettle is obviously, you can buy it at a whole bunch of places with different prices. and different options, but the kettle itself has reviews. Let's actually walk through how this happens through Google. I'll use I just made these searches before the presentation to keep things accurate. This is just a webcam. This webcam, I just typed into webcam onto Google, went to shopping. Here's my webcam, and it's got 46 reviews. And the first one that pops up, if I was to actually click on the reviews, like, hey, I want to see these, just click on these reviews, I'm going to get the same 4.3 rating. There's going to be a whole bunch of them, and there's going to be a whole bunch of reviews. There's going to be a whole bunch of them. There's going to be some products will have none, some products will have thousands. What happens here is Google will actually scrape. They're going to use an automated way of gathering these reviews from multiple different sources. So this one was actually written by Richard, and it came from a site where they were actually selling this camera, and Google got the data from that site and is now putting it onto the Google product reviews. So I actually checked this out. If you were to go to this website right here and go to this product on their site, you'll actually find Richard's review on their website. So they are using an on-site review to populate their Google Merchant Center review dashboard. That is what's happening. So they're using an on-site review. Google says, yep, it's a review for that product. And now they're populating it over here too. So it's kind of a double whammy. The only way this works is if you actually have your products listed on Google Merchant Center in the first place. So if you don't have your product listed within the Google Shopping channel, it can't happen. Google Shopping, again, it's the same thing as Google Images or search. It's just a little tab on the top of the search engine. It says, okay, shopping, what are you in the mood for? Pick a product that you're looking for, and it will pull this information from multiple sites. So if I was to go through all of these reviews, they will be coming from a variety of different websites that all sell this same webcam. So very important for the webcam manufacturer to have this set up, because they obviously want to sell as many webcams through every single one of their sales channels as possible, all of their partners. And their partners want to help sell webcams as well, because that's how they make money. So in the end, everyone wins. So again, if you're a wholesaler, very, very important to have your Google Merchant Center set up so that you can actually start capturing some information for you. This is probably the most complicated example. And I started with the card one because Google Merchant Center is normally not used very well. And normally there are some questions around it. Cool. There are Merchant Center questions at the end. You can talk to me, but it's really, really easy. You can just set up an account, Google Merchant Center, hit go in your search bar. It'll come up. You sign up for an account. You link it to your Shopify store. There's an app. You can go get the Merchant Center app right on the Shopify app store. Pretty cool. Be wary. If you're selling, some products are not really great for online. So if you're selling like alcoholic beverages or food or I want to say like ammunition, firearms, tobacco, cannabis, anything that's regulated, it's not going to fly in this environment. So yes, obviously reviews are super important in those industries as well, because if you're making whatever you're making, you want there to be positive feedback that supports it. But for this example, great. Yeah, webcams. Webcams don't really. Is Google Merchant Center, it's a great question. Is it suitable for service-based businesses? No. But my next option is Google My Business is the place you're going to want to be if you are a service-based business. So if you're a service-based business and you offer product or you've got some overlap, you're not going to be able to handle Merchant Center. Like Merchant Center is not for services. And again, the third-party apps at the end, when I get to those are really good for services. So like if you're a travel agent and you also sell, beach towels and you're a travel agent, so product and service, you're going to want to go somewhere else, because we turn to like TripAdvisor for travel reviews, or Yelp, or if you're a hotel manager, we're going to turn to a third-party app to do that. We're not going to turn to Google Merchant Center where there's not actually something physical that's actually going to get shipped to anybody. Alexa, we changed the name of our products to set us apart from stores that sell the same product. We sell clothing. Will this hurt? Yes, it will. It will. So changing the name on things has some pros and cons. Very common question. It's a good question. The more you try to differentiate yourself through a product name, it's going to hurt you because no one is going to be searching for that unique product name. So there's a big difference between a Big Mac and hamburger. A Big Mac is a hamburger. Every Big Mac is a hamburger, but not every hamburger is a Big Mac. So as soon as I put a branded title on something that doesn't need to be branded, I'm going to lose search right off the hop. So I'm going to, if I'm searching for hamburgers near me, is going to be more popular than Big Mac near me right off the hop.
It's worth noting in that example too, that works for McDonald's because the Big Mac is such a well-known brand that there are going to be some portion of customers searching for Big Macs specifically because they want their McDonald's fix. If your brand is a little bit smaller, maybe you're just starting out, those brand names are really going to hurt you if your customers aren't already familiar with them as a household brand.
Yes. Jasmine, there is not a specific app for Google Merchant Center. It is, in fact, the Google Shopping Channel. That Google Channel Shopify app, that is it. That is the correct app. That is what it's called. But it runs off of what's called Google Merchant Center. So you'll have to set up all of your Merchant Center stuff so you can offer different pricing, different shipping options, a whole bunch of different things through Merchant Center. But it's going to pull your product catalog from Shopify. So it's going to import all of your product data. It's going to import your images, the names. It's going to do a lot of the work for you. But if you are going to offer something through a different sales channel, you might want to change the price on something or the delivery options or something like that. But yes, the Google Channel Shopify app is the one you're looking for. But yes, you do need a Merchant Center account to do that. Great question. Google My Business. Every business, so not every business needs a Google Merchant Center. Cool. Every business needs a Google My Business. It is flat out the best thing, regardless as if you have a brick and mortar or your e-commerce only. There's multiple options in your Google My Business to set that up. It is amazing for SEO. It is probably the starting point to start your SEO is to have a Google My Business just for time of day, location. It's amazing for a backlink. If someone's actually Googling the name of your business, you want that to pop up. It's a huge piece of real estate that you get for free. It will help you if you do have, it'll help you a little bit more if you do have a location, but you must not, it's not a requirement. It's amazing for local search. So if you have a local audience, like right here, I don't normally read my slides, but yes, if you have a local audience and you've got like local shipping where, you might offer free shipping within a certain radius of your store or something like that, it's an amazing tool for that. It's extremely visible. Like I said, you're going to get it's the biggest piece of real estate you'll get online for free. A half column ad right on Google. That's great. Great way to show your customer service. Like there's all kinds of things that Google will give you automatically over time. So like when your store is busy, pictures of your store, pictures of your parking, a street view, directions, obviously the reviews that are tied to that, store hours, phone number, your social media links, cute questions and it's huge. It's a huge profile that you should set up. Set it up sooner rather than later. It's crazy awesome. Within your Google My Business, it will allow you to collect reviews. Great. It will allow you to collect reviews once your account is verified. So once you've gone through the steps to actually set your account up, you'll actually get a code. The code is unique to your business. It never changes. So you should be turning it into QR codes. You can send it in your email marketing. You can dress it up. This is just happens. You'll just have one. It's tied to the account. And great, people can start leaving you reviews for your location. If you have multiple locations, so let's just say you have a warehouse and a retail store or two retail stores. Each retail store gets its own Google My Business listing. So you can collect reviews independently for each location. So a flagship store versus a branch out in BC or something up north. Each location gets its own Google My Business listing. They might have different store hours. They might have different products available. They might have a whole bunch of different things. One might do holiday stuff and the other one might not. It allows you to have that functionality. Super easy to manage, again, but they do take a little bit of time to set up. Like a proper Google My Business takes about 3 hours to set up. So it's about the same amount of work as a merchant center, depending on how many products you got. This is where, back to the service-based business question, which is, this is where you should be focusing for that service-based business. I know that in the age of COVID with stuff like this, more and more individuals are open to doing things through Zoom. So like if you're doing consulting or accounting and that's all you need to do is meet clients over Zoom or Google Meet or whatever WebEx, whatever teleconferencing software you've got, I would be trying to get reviews through this, because most service-based businesses are not worldwide. They have a local regionality to them, where I'm looking for a plumber. Again, not in the UK. I'm looking for a plumber near me to do what plumbers do. Again, it depends on your service. And you might want some third-party apps or third-party reviews for that as well, but I'm going to get to those. But yes, very important. This is normally when it comes to local search. So if I typed in hairdresser near me, which is a pretty decent example because hairdressers might sell shampoo and conditioner and all kinds of things, as well as providing haircutting services. Normally, it's the person with the most good reviews that is at the top. It's fairly straightforward. The most good reviews. So 4 and 5-star reviews with the right number of them. Yes, there are other factors, but as a general rule of thumb, the person with the most reviews that are the highest rating is on the top. Cool. Trying to kind of read these questions at the same time. I'll get back to that one. On-site reviews. So yes, we've got Merchant Center. We've got Google My Business. And now we've got reviews that are actually on your store, like on site, on your website. So cool. This is how Merchant Center actually gets the reviews in the first place. So great. We've got shoes here. We're just using Allbirds as an example because Allbirds and Shopify are a great partnership. Great. That's where you can find the reviews. Normally it's like situated right underneath the price. And this pair of shoes has 611 reviews here. And it's cool. All of the on-site reviews will be about that product. So normally they are listed on the product page itself. So they're product specific. It'll be people talking actually about that product. You can curate these reviews yourself. So if you don't want to let a bunch of bad ones through, there's some ethics here. You get to approve the reviews before they end up on your website. So with Merchant Center and Google My Business, there is not a review process. They just appear when someone leaves a review. It shows up. So if it's good, bad, anything in between, it will show up. Here with an on-page review, you can actually say, nah, I don't want to feature that. Or again, you have to play it by your own ethics. So you can curate these yourself. So they are less strong from an SEO standpoint because they are a curated review, which means you have, as the business owner, you can show off what you want to show off and hide what you want to hide. It does help create a better user experience because if I'm concerned about, how does this material handle water? And if I was to go through the reviews and a bunch of people say, yeah, they're like really waterproof. I run in the rain all the time. My feet don't get wet. I'm going to go, oh, these are the shoe for me. Super important for B2C businesses. So if you are the actual maker of that product and you're not going through like a wholesale distribution network and you're selling directly to consumer, this is where you really want to focus because your business owns all of these reviews. They are yours. They will impact consumer decisions. You should be able to do this yourself. Cool. Shopify actually has a review app for free right from the Shopify App Store. That's what it looks like. It's called Product Reviews. Cool. And yes, sometimes apps need customization and they need work and you need to get a developer involved to make it look the way you want. But the underlying technology is here. And again, even this app has a 3.5 star. We use it all the time. It's the one that we recommend. It's got a lot of reviews itself. It's free. The reviews specifically for Allbirds, you can actually see it. It's like, okay, great. It was a verified buyer, which means, yes, they bought it. What did they buy? Cool. And then there's an actual write-up on it with a date. So great. They actually bought them today. Took the screenshot not long ago. So it gives the next customer a very comfortable and confident perspective of, oh, if I was going to make this purchase, am I going to be the first one to do so, or am I in the right place, looking at the right thing? So very, very important, especially when we can get to the actual strategy behind what we want to get people to say, which is going to be a little bit later on. Third party, back to the service providers. Some service providers will really, really benefit from going through third party stuff. So like Yelp, Better Business Bureau. If you've also like are selling your products on Amazon, Amazon reviews are like really important as well. That is a third party because you actually don't control, like your Shopify is your Shopify. Amazon gives you the ability to sell through Amazon, but it's third party. So Yelp, Better Business Bureau, Amazon, there's all different kinds. There's TripAdvisor, there's like all kinds of stuff that is industry specific. So like Rate MDs, if you're looking at doctors, there's like all kinds. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Some of them are very legitimate and some of them are not. So you really need to do your research in terms of finding the right spot for you. The big thing that a third party provides is access to an additional audience. So if there's another large audience that's already out there that just shops through a different means, or that's where they go for information, and they're big enough for you to dedicate the resources to going into that environment and catering to them as well, then great. If your customer isn't there, I would say I don't want to be on Yelp because that's not where people look for a marketing agency. So I won't invest in building out my Yelp profile and so on and so forth. So the same thing, restaurants, you really might want to look into these things. Again, they're normally legitimate. Like you have to really look at when you create a business account, like, is it kind of scammy? Can I buy fake? Like you have to look into this. Some of them are great. Some of them aren't. It does hold your competitors accountable, because if they've got a whole bunch of bad reviews up there, they're gonna be visible. So great. Yes, you'll get a backlink of creating a Yelp profile, so like it'll help your SEO a little bit. Again, you really only need to go into one of these places if you have an audience there, and then if it's service specific. Travel agent, you're probably going to need to get involved with TripAdvisor. It's going to be really hard not to, because they're the ones that are attracting the attention. That's them. So think about it. There's all kinds of third-party stuff. You'll have to find one that is related to your industry. Cool. Any questions before I can move on? They just opened a Farm Boy. I'm from Guelph. They just opened a Farm Boy down the street. It's only got one review. Cool. Stone Road Mall. They've got all kinds of reviews for the businesses in there. You have to really look at it. You really have to look at and figure out if it's worth your time to set all this stuff up, because setting up a profile to only get one review is really not worth your time. No one's benefiting from one review. But again, I would imagine Farm Boy being open for a few months, they'll be up to 100. So it depends on where your customers are looking for you and what industry you're in. Okay, specific to Shopify. So yes, this is a Shopify workshop. We expect a great deal of the people in this room to be interested in what you should do for Shopify. Yes, regardless if you're e-commerce only or you have a brick and mortar, you need to Google My Business. You're like must. You must set it up. If you've got a large catalog of items, don't worry about adding every single product into your product database on Google My Business, but like your top 10% of products should be there, like 100%. Merchant Center, again, if you want to capture people coming through Google, you really should think about it. You'll find all kinds of your competitor data there as well. It's something you really need to think about it. And then you should have a review app installed on your site. So it doesn't need to be the one that I showed you. That one's just free. There are plenty of other ones. You can go through the Shopify App Store and take a look at if you've got something specific or you want to use something, see something, and you want it to function like that. There's all kinds. I recommend the free one from Shopify because it's a good place to start. But yes, there's all kinds of options. There is all kinds of options. This would be like the bare minimum for every business. You should have all of these things. And again, the specific nature of a third-party one is going to be up to your unique business. If you have questions about like, hey, does that apply or not? Happy to answer those questions at the end. If you're like, hey, we do this and this. Lots of businesses offer an e-commerce solution and have like a service department. Yeah, we can talk about the end. Lots of businesses have that hybrid model, that omni-channel. If you've ever heard that omni-channel, that means in-store and online. If you've got that, cool. Responding to reviews. So when you get a review, you need to respond to the review, regardless if it's good or bad. Regardless. It's just good customer service. This is where you kind of get to shine. Okay. Some platforms will allow you to respond and some will not. So your Google My Business is going to allow you to respond to it, where your Google Merchant Center will not. That app that's on Shopify, the review app, is you're not able to respond to that customer through that app. But when you have the ability to respond, you should take the opportunity to respond. Okay. Yes, timely, professional manner. Really, when it comes down to this, is like people, let's be honest, we're looking for the bad reviews. Everyone does it. It's like, what's wrong with this business? I need to be persuaded. And my fears are I'm going to get ripped off. So I need to go look at the reviews and I want to see how they essentially treat customers. So when things are all going good, great, the business is providing proper service. But when things are bad, I want to see how people are handling the bad situations. Cool. There are instances when people get a little rowdy in reviews and they say things that aren't quite appropriate. There should be, and again, we'll get into that. If someone is completely belligerent, you don't have to engage with them. You can flag it. You can do things. We'll talk about that. Cool. If you look at this QR code, and it was one of the resources that we linked into the presentation, you can go get it. I might have Aaron drop that in chat as well. You can download it. It's really, really easy. This is like a very simple SOP, standard operating procedure, super simple. The difficulty is doing it in a timely, professional manner. Because when we get bad feedback from people, normally as business owners, we're quite passionate about our businesses, and getting negative feedback, frankly, it hurts a little bit. It does. But keeping cool, level-headed is going to be how you win. So great. When it comes to review, there's really only two forms. It's a good review or a bad review. And there's different versions of those. Obviously, if it's positive, 5-star with a comment, and they say, oh, great, you did a lovely job. I interacted with so-and-so, longtime shopper, great. Really, really easy. We're trying to respond in under 72 hours. So great, if they get the review on Friday and you don't open up till Monday, try to get to it on Monday. So great. No one's going to hold your feet to the fire. There's no negative repercussions if it's a few days late. But in best case scenario, you're going to reply to it in a timely manner. If they say something good about you, say thank you. And then you should teach them something else. Thanks for leaving feedback. It's my pleasure. By the way, if you liked the pizza, you got to try the sundae. Something like that. You should introduce some new information to them, whether that be they bought a pair of jeans and you should talk about your matching shoes, or they really liked your customer service and you talk about your employee winning the Employee of the Month award and how awesome they are. You just want to try and have a short, to the point dialogue, but very personable. You're a human being. Great.
That information comes directly from Google as well. Right in the Google My Business platform, when you go to respond to your reviews, there's a note in there saying, don't just thank people for a positive review, because that's not adding any actual value. So that idea of thanking them and then adding something that actually adds some additional value to the review is coming straight from Google.
Great. Let's just say if it's a negative review, let's just say it's not positive, it's negative. There's a couple of options here. Let's just say it's negative and it's an illegitimate review. We'll tackle that one first. Illegitimate 1-star review with a comment that's not so nice. Well, one, do they have the right business? Happens all the time. People leave reviews. Your business name is very close to another business's name. Is the person reviewing the right business? Sometimes that's wrong. They're reviewing the wrong business. The customer makes a mistake. You can actually just let them know, hey, I think you're reviewing the wrong business, but you can call me anytime. But I don't think you're reviewing the right business. We don't do that. We don't sell jeans. You bought jeans. We don't need to sell jeans. You're in the wrong place. If they're really wrong, go ahead, Aaron.
I was just going to ask for a few examples that I think would be helpful for people. What would not qualify as an illegitimate review?
What would not qualify as an illegitimate review? So that would mean it would be legitimate?
More so, I want to highlight that when we talk about customers making mistakes, reviewing the wrong business would be a great example of a mistake that should be corrected in the review. Saying that the food tastes bad is not a mistake on the customer's point.
Correct.
And this is something that I see a lot of small business owners struggle with, is disagreeing with the customer's review is not grounds to flag it as illegitimate.
So no, that's a great point. So yeah, like again, they can have an opinion that differs from the businesses, and that doesn't make it illegitimate. Things that make it illegitimate are obviously if they're saying something that is not true, like I bought the jeans and the jeans suck and you don't sell jeans. Great. Yeah, that as we don't do that here. If they're using vulgar, if they're swearing in the review, if they're doing like any kind of misogyny, racism, swear, any of that, yeah, we can get that flagged right away and get taken off. There's a whole bunch of things that fall in the line of that. So like any derogatory language, any threats, anything like that, we can have it moved off. If they are, if the review appears to be fake, so let's just say you get a review from someone, and normally through Google My Business, this is the one where we would have the option to to flag a review. Let's just say you're a B2B business and you know who all of your customers are. Sometimes there is not a very good tactic from a marketing standpoint, but it happens, where you will actually leave your competitors negative reviews. And obviously to drive their rating down, it's not a very good practice. I don't do it. There's all kinds of bad things that can happen from it. But let's just say that happens to you. That you could absolutely flag that saying you're not one of our customers. I've gone through our customer list. You're not on it. You can contact me directly. You can flag that as like they're not a customer. They've never shopped here. There's other things that'll flag a review too, where if they say something specifically in the review, like I've never eaten here, but I've heard it's bad. Yeah, I can flag that one too. They obviously have never eaten. If they actually go out and say I've never eaten here, but I've heard bad things. Yeah, you have to have an experience with the business. You can't just use hearsay. So there are some ways to get out. So that's if it's legitimate, you can get it flagged, you can get it taken down. It takes a couple of days. And yes, if it is legitimate. So mistakes happen. If it's a legitimate bad review, we need to address it. There's a few things that we want to do. First, we definitely just want to apologize, say, sorry, you had a bad experience. We take our customer service very important. Like this is important to us. Again, we want to be timely. With a bad review, you want to be as fast as possible. Like if they leave a review, like do not hesitate to reply to it. Keep your cool. Take the conversation offline. We are not here to air dirty laundry about why the customer is feeling the way they're feeling over a chat. You're going to say, sorry, let's fix these things. You can email me directly at this email address, or you can contact our customer support line at this phone number, or I've got your account number here ready to go. And you're going to give them a pathway to actually talk to a person, because at the end of the day, that's how the problem's actually going to get solved. If they choose not to interact with you again, that is their prerogative, but that's going to make it seem to the next customer saying, oh, you're owning up to your mistake and you're giving that person a pathway for a correction. That's all that you can expect. There's a very, very good chance, we've done this stuff with some of our clients, that if you call some of these people that have left bad reviews, you can have a chat with them. And if you're able to fix the problem or come to some common ground, you can actually have them change their review from a 1 to a 5. We've done it plenty of times. You call them or they call you, you have a chat, you do whatever. And again, if that review is really important to you, great. I'm going to meet you in the middle and I can get you to change that review. No problem. You do this, I'll do this, and great. You can hold them to it. Awesome. So just because it's a 1, it doesn't mean it needs to stay a 1. It's going to stay a 1 as long as you fail to address it. The best way to address it is to give the customer a pathway to communicate with a human being offline, phone number, email, in person, any which way that you can have a face-to-face interaction.
And with that said, if that customer still chooses to leave that negative review up, there's unfortunately nothing you can do about it. and this is something we get asked all the time, there is no way to remove your negative reviews unless they are legitimate for one of the reasons that we already discussed.
So we've been able to successfully take down a considerable number, and you're able to manage some bad ones. But yes, if you really left a poor taste in someone's mouth, this is how you get held accountable. It sucks. It's business. There is a silver lining here. No business is perfect. And if we had 250 reviews and they were all 5-star, something doesn't smell quite right about that. So often a 4.8, a 4.7, a 4.8, a 4.9 seems a lot more credible than a 5. 5 just screams, yeah, what the heck's going on here? They've never done it. It's just the optics, from an optics standpoint, something doesn't smell right. 4.8, 4.9, it's like, I want to see how you're handling the bad stuff to disarm my concerns going, oh, they do have a good reputation. This is how they handle it. So don't get too concerned. Everyone will eventually get a bad review. There's nothing you can do about it. Cool. Starting the review strategy process. Cool. This is where this is going to get very individualistic with all of the businesses in this room. So there is this wicked thing called social priming. There were some scientists, I'll tell you a story, and then how we're actually going to use this to help you actually gain reviews that you actually want. So what is a review you want? We're going to get to, but I'm going to tell you this story first. What happened in the 70s when there was a lot of psychological testing done on human beings, scientists ran an experiment, and what they were interested in was how you can affect someone else's behavior. So what they did was they had a random group of people walk down a hallway, and they timed them with their natural walking speed, and they developed a baseline on how long it would take them to walk down this hallway. And they ran this a bunch of times, and they came up with, okay, here's how long it takes to walk down the hallway. And then they gave that same group of people a cue card to read. And that cue card had prompts on it, like rapid, rabbit, agile, fast. And what they determined was the people that are reading words that are associated with speed walk faster. They did the same thing again, and they gave the same group of people cue cards like fragile, slow, tortoise, and the people that were reading the words that were a little bit on the slower side would actually walk slower as well. So I could actually control the speed of your walk by priming you with words. So what the heck does that mean with a review? Well, I've got 2 examples for you here. So I've got, let's just say you've got 100 reviews in your review section for your business. You want those reviews to say specific things. Now, normally you want those things to be tied in with your brand values, what you want to be known for. Or you want to alleviate something like, oh, you know what, we're concerned about in this example, like we want our product to be seen as very durable. Well, let's just take this 2 examples. You provide your review link to a customer, and normally you're going to have to give them some words that go with that link, saying here. So option 1, we would appreciate a review on our website. So great, that's the call to action. Leave us a review. Option 2, tell us how you felt about the durability of our products. And you're still going to give them the same link. Now, which review do you think, if I was to have the same customer, what prompt do you think is actually going to have a higher chance of someone talking about how strong and how lasting and how awesome our products are in terms of that one feature? Well, it's option 2. We're going to get people talking about the thing that we primed them to talk about. You need to determine what you want your customers to talk about. And every business in this room is going to have something different. And that's how we're going to actually get people to leave us a review that is the most impactful for your business. So we need to actually take a step back and say, what values in our products do we want to be known for? So I use durability as the example. Maybe the taste of it is something really good, or the speed is really, really good, or the longevity of something, or you need to determine what keywords are the most important to your business. And these are keywords not necessarily important to Google, but again, if I'm going to try and build brand value, what do I want my brand to be known for? And I am going to prompt the people that I want to leave a review with a prompt that leads them into talking about those keywords. Cool. So this is where now we can play with, okay, we want to be known about these 5 things. I'll have 5 sets of review prompts built, and I can cycle those around so I can give them to people. And not every single review in the list is going to talk about durability, but every 5th one will. And now the other ones are going to talk about different things, so that when the customer is worried about, the price or the delivery time, or whether it's Canadian made, or whatever product value or feature you're looking for, we can actually get our customers to say those things. And again, it's not 100% chance, but it's they're never gonna talk about durability in option 1. It's not going to cross their mind. They're going to say it was great, store was clean, shipping was easy, came on time, done. They'll never talk about the keywords that I want them to talk about. So for each one of you, yes, you are going to need a list of things that you want your customers to say, and you are going to need to formulate questions similar to this one to prompt your customers to say the things you want them to say. Make sense? Cool. The specifics of your business. Now, this is going to be some more homework. This is going to be very individualistic per business. You need to determine who you should be asking for reviews in the first place. So normally you don't ask for a review for a first-time buyer. So on Shopify, you can see if they're a first-time customer or not. You're not really sure how they are going to react to being a first-time customer. But if they've bought 3 times, they're a repeat purchase, we're going to have an increased chance of them leaving us a better review, because they were satisfied the first time, they were satisfied the second time, they've chosen to buy the 3rd time. Okay, they probably like us. I can influence when that happens. So maybe it's their 3rd order, or maybe it's at a specific order value, or maybe it's if they bought a specific product that is only for potentially like a more engaged audience. You need to determine who is actually going to be filling out your review forms, because they're going to give you more, and it's going to be a higher likelihood of this actually happening. This process ultimately should be automated. So it should be automated. You can do that through email marketing software, where it's after they've purchased their 3rd time, they get sent an email with a thank you and all of that stuff. And that's where you should try to get to, because then it's consistent. It always happens. It's always on time. The emails can be personalized, and it's, especially for a small business, it makes you look a lot bigger. And again, no one has the time in the day to be doing things manually. If you're a smaller business, I'll jump down, you should use traditional tactics. So small businesses, pick up the phone. They've made their 3rd order. Pick up the phone and thank them. You're a small business. You're going to have to be using this to your advantage. Big businesses will never do that. I'm never going to get a call from Hudson's Bay. Never going to get a call from Home Depot. Not going to happen. But for a small business, you can have a better, we're going to actually get into some of that in a future workshop when we talk about communication strategy. But for small businesses, you really have to lean in to a more personalized touch. It's not as clear cut and clean as having an automated process, but it's something that you can do that a big business can't. You must test your assumptions. Like, should I be bugging them at the 3rd time or the 4th time? So you can separate 2 separate audiences. Maybe men are more likely to give a review 1 stage earlier than women. Or again, we're gonna start with an assumption on when I should go and request a review, but you need to test that. Your first guess is often not the perfect answer. You need to test. You should ask it multiple times. Just because I've gotten a review from you once doesn't mean that's the only time that you'll give me a review, especially for products. So if I've purchased a product on the site and then I've purchased another product 3 months later, I can leave 2 reviews. I can leave a review for product 1 and a review for product 2. And it's great. And that's going to help you fill out some of that information, especially if I'm making multiple purchases. Those people are going to be more likely to leave reviews in the first place. You can offer a benefit for leaving a review. This is not a strategy I'd recommend through Google My Business because it actually breaks their terms of service. But for stuff on your website, it's leave us a review and we'll send you a 10% off coupon or whatever you want to do. But again, reviews do have a dollar value to them. Going, would I pay for a review? If the review was $6, I will happily pay for $6 reviews all day long because I will generate more business than it's costing me. You should have something in there. If you're having a hard time generating reviews in the first place, you might need to have some kind of offer to get people to do the things you want. You should make the review writing process easier. What does that mean? If you're capturing feedback, like ask better questions, make it simpler, let people know how long it's going to take before they start. Let them know how their feedback is being implemented in the future. And then understand the process yourself. So if you're asking for a review for someone, you should probably be leaving reviews for other people because understanding the process is going to allow you to sell the process much easier. So if you've never left a review for someone on Google My Business, but you're asking your customers to leave a review, is not great because you're going to get stumped by a question. You should know this stuff inside and out, especially if they're trying to leave a review on the site. Cool. Question. We are actually at the end. I flew through that. I'm a fast talker today. I flew through all of that content. We do need to open up the lines of communication a little bit and talk about your businesses now and talk about what words you should be looking for, what platforms you should be posting reviews on or trying to get reviews on. And then I know you've got questions about reviews. So the floor is open. I will go back up. I'm going to go back up and start. I think there was one question I didn't get to during the presentation. Okay. Yes, that's a very good question. So the question is, you have a Merchant Center account. The issue is forcing a pull, which means Google is actually taking the data from your Shopify catalog. That's the pulling information from Shopify and posting the sale price online. So your ad stops serving. Unfortunately, there's no way to solve this. You need to actually reset all of the pricing on your Merchant Center account for when you offer a big sale like that. It's not a great user experience that way. It depends on if you've got a company-wide sale. Most of the time, you're going to be all of your call to action, all of your clicks are going to be directed to your Shopify or your e-commerce site in general. So it wouldn't be a terrible experience if your customer landed on your site and the price was cheaper than they were expecting. It's not going to be a good experience if they land on your site and the product is more expensive than you're expecting. But there's no way to actually force them to update pricing. It depends on how often you're offering sales. It's a good question. Sadly, I don't have a good answer for you. It's not a great ecosystem for offering a discount. Strategies for improving your email campaigns to gain a higher number of reviews. This is our biggest area we are trying to work on. We do offer discount for next purchase. Great. So strategies, normally we run strategy specifically through email through A/B testing. So we will be testing subject lines would be where to start is what subject line is performing the best to actually get the email to open. Again, strategies would be, am I targeting a returning customer or is this a first-time customer? Because I should be able to set out some rules, some triggers on my email campaigns to not target first-time customers because it's kind of asking too much for someone that has just purchased. I'd be targeting specifically what they bought. So am I running sales? Am I running discounts? Is this the type of person to pay full price for things? Time of day, are they shopping late at night? When am I actually sending the email? How the email looks plays a large part in it. I don't know what your discounts look like, but yes. The big thing there is just finding the right audience to give you a review. Not every audience is just going to go out of their way and say, oh yeah, I got an email from business X. I've bought in 3 times. Now I'm going to go give them my time. Some people will just never leave you a review.
In terms of how the emails look, the one thing I'll mention is to make sure your call to action for the reviews appears near the top of the email. A lot of the time, you're going to try to include a lot of information in your post-purchase follow-up emails, which is a great thing to do. If you want to follow the 80-20 rule, make sure it's 80% content your customers actually want, 20% content that's pushing them into a call to action or whatever you're trying to get out of the email. But if you are including quite a bit of content in those post-purchase follow-up emails, you want to make sure your primary call to action appears near the top of the page so that people actually see it before they click out of the email. So if we're talking about, post-purchase follow-up, including a review request, consider bumping the visual priority on that review request within that email.
Shopify has some specific recommendations to do this as well. So normally you can actually run a report from your analytics with the frequently purchased with, and you can actually determine based on what that customer's purchased, you can actually find what is the next most common thing that's often bought with that original item. So like what Aaron's saying is, if you're also trying to upsell and ask for a review in that email, it's normally like stick to one or the other. Like they can only do so much. It really depends. It depends on the audience. It depends on what they're buying. Again, I'm going to be less likely to leave a review unless I was like kind of impressed. So with the e-commerce side of things, in your packaging that you're actually sending businesses, did you actually put like a little thank you card in there? Is it all for does it mirror the email marketing that you're doing already? Like leave this review and it's 10% off your next order, or you're going to get early access to something else, or it's a specific dollar value off, or because you bought this, now you have access to this. Normally you have to, and this is what big businesses get right a lot of the time, is the consistency and the frequency. Ford advertises 400 times throughout a hockey game, and it's the same ad over and over and over and over and over. And they're just trying to get it into your head. Think Ford tough. That's it. They're just trying to get that slogan into your head so that you repeat it in a situation like this. Small businesses normally are terrible at the consistency thing because you think you're bothering your customers. You just need to do it better, but you still need to have the same frequency and consistency. So the stuff that's coming in your packaging, the stuff that they're seeing digital, whether it be email or SMS, that has to be consistent, and then asking the right questions. So if the right question, and I would go back to your emails going like, is my open rate really low? Like, am I not even getting people to open the email, or are they starting the process and not finishing the process? Or is the app just a pain in the butt and the buttons aren't highlighted enough? There's a whole bunch of things that are happening there. But again, easy process, the right audience, you're going to have a higher success rate. How can Intuit help with improving reviews through products or workshops like this? We do offer a whole bunch of consulting stuff outside of this. So like you can contact me. I think the stuff's still on the slides there. You can follow us on LinkedIn. You can contact me directly. That's my phone number. If you call me, I won't pick up right now, but you can call me. Normally, the way that we'll help is we'll get to know your business a little bit and figure out who your customer is and what you're actually trying to do and what they should say. And then we'll actually put some processes in place to start capturing that stuff. So it's pretty unique to you, but how we help, it's individualized work that we will actually do with you. Helpful. This is our second year in business. So a lot of our customers are first time because it's spell special occasion dresses, so don't have high repeat. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. So this happens all the time. So if you're like, okay, great, like I make wedding dresses and I really hope you don't need another wedding dress. That's cool. That happens all the time. There are businesses like that. Normally, when you're selling unique products, you're going to have a different relationship with your customer. It'll be a little bit more personal just because you're doing something you're not selling socks. You're not selling the same pair of socks every day. It's a little bit more unique. I would fall back on the traditional means. So I'd contact them directly. Normally through the checkout process, you're getting their email, potentially getting their phone number. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, especially for a small business. If they've had a good time, and a business has done something unique and special for the customer, they're going to be much more inclined to actually give you feedback because you've gone above and beyond for them. So in that case, I would say maybe the automated ways aren't a great idea and you focus on the traditional ways. So a great traditional way is when you actually ship them their order and they get their order in the mail, you actually have a handwritten card in their order, saying, hi, their name. It was a pleasure to work with you. Thanks for supporting us, yada, yada, yada. Again, add some, it was really fun working on the project or your specific product. We hope you liked the insert special thing here. We would love a review. Great. And then here's your like QR code. Done. And again, that's going to have a super high uptick. And again, that card does take time to, one, produce, and two, to write and make personalized. But if you're focusing on reviews and you want to have that reputation, that's how you show it. Like if you want that like unique feel and like super down to earth, we know your customers, you like them. That's the way to do that. And people love it. They love it so much that there's like entire YouTube channels where like people just unbox things, because like the act of unboxing something, I heard this quote the other day. Your product packaging is the only thing in your marketing that has a 100% open rate. So during that experience, you have a captive audience. They are going to open it. They want to feel like it is something special to them. Cool. Absolutely. Thank you for the workshop. If you have to leave, no problem. Again, we're going to email this out to everyone afterwards. The QR code is so easy. Like if COVID has done anything for anyone, it is the resurrection of the QR code. They're everywhere. People know how to use them now. They were forced into it. So having a review form tied to a QR code that just makes it easy. They're on their phone right away. It opens up into your review app. Boom. It's so easy to do. That's the easiest thing. You do not want someone to have to type https://www.store name. No, don't do that. It should be a QR code. It should be so easy to do. And that's awesome. Any other questions? QR codes are free too. Like you just go into a QR code generator, you throw in your URL, hit go, snaps out a QR code. So like pretty easy to set up. You just need to keep track of them and put them on things. We put them on all kinds of things. So if I have, see if I have a business card on my desk. I do. We put QR codes on all kinds of things. So like some of our business cards have QR codes on them. We give away a ton of stock photography. So if you're looking for something, it's like, here it is. That's where you get the resource. And we'll actually print things with that QR code on it because it'll just say true forever, which it makes it really easy and affordable for a small business to actually do. Cool. I'll get back to my slide here. This is my last slide. Great. More events. You found this one. Events.shopify.com. You're going to be seeing a lot more from us. You can follow us on LinkedIn. I'll have Aaron put our LinkedIn in the chat, unless he's done that already. He's ahead of me, usually ahead of me. Sprint Point. You can download this resource on Sprint Point. Everything on that site is free. There might be a few other things. I didn't really touch on the marketing persuasions portion of this, but again, this falls under the social proof. You really want people to believe in the things that you're doing. There's the LinkedIn. Awesome. Questions, concerns, call me, email me. Awesome. But again, the floor is going to stay open for a few more minutes as we keep chatting. Any questions are good, but otherwise, if you don't have a question, you are absolutely free to go.